Welcome, this is a video going over the suspension on Das Camino, what parts I used and how I got it done. Start off with the old stuff, dirty, bent, destroyed. I went with a Type 1 beam conversion. The main reason I did that is the Type 3 beam is a lot taller than a Type 1 beam, which allows the ability to cut off these horns that hang down, which are the lowest part of the car. So once they're cut off, you can actually get another 2.5 or 3 inches lower before anything hits. So you cut those horns off. I just used some 1-inch flat bar to fill the spots, welded it all up, cleaned it up. Everything worked out pretty well. And then I set about sanding everything and getting some flat black Rust-Oleum on it. The front beam I got from a company called Valley Auto Works. I was very happy with everything. Turned out great. Slapped some rattle can orange paint on it. I did have to put a cut in the shock towers so that I could bend them out slightly. As with my car, I just could not get the beam in place without doing that. So I'll end up welding those when I'm finished. I also had the steering box rebuilt by a friend of mine, Kelly Bourne. He's got his shop called the Sloppy Box Shop, and it's better than new when he's done with it, so definitely check that out if you're interested. So I did have to do some cutting. These little boxes on the side of the fender wells, they're useless at this point and they were in the way. Once those were cut off, clearanced great. The airbag has an internal bump stop in it, and that's mostly what I'm relying on here. This section of the rear end, I had to cut a lot of stuff out of. This wasn't even everything that I ended up cutting out of it to get it where I wanted it. There's the torsion bar delete kit. I just put some metal together to represent the bag so I could find a place to put these bags. So here's the trailing arms cutting away a lot more stuff, making more room. I ended up having to cut a significant amount away, re-weld it, then I tapped it to put a bump stop there. The rear bags also have an internal bump stop, and I set everything up so that all of the bump stops should hit at the same time. There's the bump stop on the other side. And there it is, sitting pretty. Just made a little sleeve for the bottom of the bag. This is doing the other side where stuff's gonna sit. And I just kind of went for it. I just got everything in the car and found a spot where it seemed like everything would work well. And the only drawback to that was I didn't leave enough room for the shocks. So I had quite a fight when I started setting up where the shock was going to go. But yeah, just made up some brackets to brace everything and make it all strong enough. Now keep in mind, I have not driven this car, so far I think everything works great. But who knows, maybe by the time I go to drive it I'll be like, no, that was terrible, I gotta redo it all. I probably remade this lower shock mount 4 times before I finally got it right in the position where it wasn't gonna foul against the axle or the bag. So if you follow what I did, you might want to think about your shock before you lock down where your bags are. That's it, I finally got it right, got it in the car, and everything operates great. Nothing binds or fouls or any issues with it so far. Yeah, the car came out looking pretty good. So yeah, this is the system that I used. And this is just kind of showing where I decided to mount stuff. Oh yes, I put my bead roller to use for the first time. This is a part that I'll eventually probably remake. because having made it the first time, there's definitely things I would do differently. Maybe not have so many sharp right angles where stuff can crack easily. And I also didn't have anything to cleanly bend over the flanges on the edges of it, so I used the bead roller to do that. It's alright. Functionally, it does what it needs to do. Gives me a spot where I can put everything and it's nice and secure and out of the way. And next up, I will be running all of the hard lines where it's visible. That's what these bulkhead mounts are for. But yeah, everything's coming along all right. Someday maybe I'll even get to drive this thing.